episode for you guys. I got a special guest in the house. This is my kinfolk, my cousin, you know what I'm saying? And we going to be doing an episode today representing the legacy and remembrance of the boy Nip Hussle the Great. You know what I'm saying? Today's his birthday. And I was like, you know, man, I'm a huge fan. I've been a huge fan of Nipsey, you know, since 2008. Probably 07, but really 2008 was when I, really got heavy into Nipsey up until, his ultimate demise, unfortunately. So I was like, let's go ahead and celebrate my dog with an episode here, just a dedication episode for you guys. So this is a Mind Huff episode with my special guest Shan in the house. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and let these folk know who you is, man.
Yo, this Shan. Really don't have a master plan. Just going out here, doing what I got to do.
I hear it for sure. So, yeah, man, what's today? August 15th.
August 15th, 2020.
2020, we living in this this new era of...
new era of life.
Yeah, that's how you put it. 2020 is the year that, things change for everybody. But today, man, it's just a special day. We calling it Nip Day. This my dog birthday and everything, man. And I'll let you actually start it off just with your thoughts about Nip and just how you feel about him, personally, and just how he impacted you, since you heard him and everything like that.
Fortunately and unfortunately, I became a late bloomer of the craft that he gave to us musically, culturally, and all the aspects of business. So I always heard of this guy. Who was this guy? Who is this little Snoop, light-skinned Snoop? You know what I'm saying? But I really didn't pick up on him till like that joint he did with Lloyd, because at that time he was on the videos, and because as he said, he need radio play to get him where he was at. So caught him on BET a few times. I'm like, who is this guy? So it wasn't until really Victory Lap came out, and then I kind of dabbled him in a little bit. But I was on my J. Cole stuff, on my stuff that you hear on the radio, and I honestly have to give props where it's due, because lyrically he's talking to you. Lyrically he's putting something in your mind that you could take with 5-10 years from now, and put that to any type of business mode.
Correct.
Or life goal mode that you have. And that's just my ultimate perspective of this human being that unfortunately we lost. And half the time he ain't even about the music, he just a kindred soul. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, man, with me and Nip, I first got put on to Nipsey. It's a little strange because I didn't become a fan immediately, because I didn't really know that was him. But he was on Pac's Life album, the album Pac's Life, which came out in 2006. He was on one of those tracks, and he had a nice flow or whatever. But I wasn't really thinking about nothing at the time frame as far as with him. It just I was a Pac fan, still am, of course. And but it wasn't until I want to say I didn't become an actual fan until Volume 2, Bullets Ain't Got No Names Volume 2. And I think that was 2000. It came out, I want to say maybe 07, 08. And how I found out about him, it was this website called onsmash.com. They would have, all the new, artists, underground acts, stuff like that. I was always a big person on just underground acts and just finding people that nobody else listened to. You know what I'm saying?
Niche for that.
But and I've had that since I was younger. You know what I'm saying? Just like just being a down south person, and being a fan of Pastor Troy, Lil Jon. Just all the underground like ATL. Florida, Louisiana, Georgia, Texas. You know what I mean? Just being from that particular, that cut from that particular cloth. But it wasn't until Volume 2, and it was the Hustle in the House song, and it sampled Jump from Crisscross. You know what I'm saying? But that was like, it was catchy, but it was like, it was hard. You know what I'm saying? It was hard and it was gangster, you know. And at the time frame, you know, what was out at the time was like Snap Music and, you know, all that kind of stuff, which I love because I'm a South dude. But at the same time, you know, I'm always looking for the next whatever it is. Game was the West Coast at the time frame. He G-Unit and all that. He was dissing G-Unit and all that. But it was like Nip was like, okay, this dude, he looked like Snoop. You know, he a Crip like Snoop. But he didn't sound like Snoop. You know what I'm saying? And when I listened to that whole mixtape, I'm like, damn, dude got crazy beats. He's saying something. It's, of course, he gang banging or whatever the case may be, but you always, I could hear it was something more to it.
You could hear the hunger in it.
It was more than hunger though. It was more so like the smarts, the passion in understanding there's a bigger play, like there's a bigger move out there. Like I'm like not really trying to get out of the gang banging, but I want to elevate, you know, right, these people to a different type of way of thinking, right? I want to put my folks on to better business moves, ownership,
right?
And that was from volume 2, you feel me? And then when volume 3 came out, it was over. You know what I'm saying? My dog had to deal with Epic. You know, he had the video with Lloyd, song with Drake.
Yeah.
And this was
before Killer Go Hard.
This was before Drake was Drake. What you guys got to know and understand is Nipsey was here before Drake, before Kendrick, before Cole. You feel me?
Those guys just had a platform.
What? Yeah, they had a platform, but he actually had the platform first. But it was just that, like, he was too caught up in the streets. And he was really out there. You know what I'm saying? Because I remember when Kendrick, you know, people started to, like, notice Kendrick, like, back in, like, 2009, 2010 or whatever. I had a homeboy. He was like, yo, man, it's another cat out there in the West Coast, man. Because, matter of fact, let me revert that. Before Kendrick, it was J-Rock.
True. Oh, TDE.
Yeah, TDE. So it was J-Rock, right?
I was about to say, double back on what you were saying. For J-Rock, TDE pushing Kendrick, wouldn't have been no J-Rock, truthfully.
Well, no. Well, you know what J-Rock got his cosign from, though.
Well, I'm saying in the sense of the whole TDE label, people knew of J-Rock, but then came Kendrick, J-Rock came back up.
Yeah, J-Rock came back up, but you know who co-signed J-Rock? Your favorite.
No.
Your favorite.
Seriously?
Yeah. J-Rock first song that went big. Before Kendrick was in the video.
I'll double back on that, but okay.
He was featured on the song. That's J-Rock was the first artist from TDE and elevated it, but Kendrick just like, because Kendrick also got to deal with Dre. So it was that merge, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, it was J-Rock and Wayne. You got to go back to 08, 09. J-Rock and Wayne video.
Okay.
Kendrick was in the video and everything. You know what I'm saying? But
okay.
From there, you know, cause then, right, Game, I think, had the Red album or something like that, and Nip, J-Rock, Nip TDE was opening headliners for Game on that tour. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, man, you know, from there, man, like I said, Volume 3 dropped, and Nip always had something, man, that like just was a message, man. He always had that motivational type music, man. You know what I mean? And I follow Nip from there. You know what I'm saying? From the point of when, you know, he was on Epic and he was supposed to drop the album. The album didn't drop. He had the video with Lloyd that you was just talking about. He was on the BET Awards with the the ice cream paint job remix. Yep.
Yeah. He snapped on that too.
Yep, snapped on it. You know what I mean? And he was in the We Are the World video that they did in like 2009. You may not remember it, but they did a re-envision of We Are the World, and Nipsey was there. He wasn't even supposed to be there. Yeah. But you can look at the video on YouTube. Okay. You know what I'm saying?
I probably already done seen it.
Yeah. Matter of fact, on that Snoop video.
That's what's on there.
Yeah.
He had a piece on there from that.
And you know, from there, man, I just been following Nip, and he finally left Epic in 2010. He dropped the Marathon right at the end of 2010, and from there it was just like sky's the limit. You know, like this dude just always, you know, had that message, man, and you know, always talked about business ownership. You know, he still had his you know, his t-shirt shop with the Crenshaw shirts and all that. You know, he got a little tiff, him and, you know, with Big U, which was his manager originally. But he just kept flourishing, and I just followed him, you know, all the way to that point, man, and just been a huge fan of his, you know. And I just think he really needs to be celebrated properly, which, you know, all the loved ones and the fans, the real ones out there is doing, man. We're gonna keep his name alive, you know. It just was it hurt me to the core. You know, when
that unfaithful day.
I remember it like yesterday, unfortunately, because he was on his way. He
especially
understood.
After that Grammy nomination, and the album is a classic.
Yeah,
everybody agrees. I mean, everybody may not agree that it should have won a Grammy, but if you're listening to real raw rap music, from somebody who grinded to get where they was at. Basically when he said grinding all my life, he literally meant that from the front to the end of the back of that song. That's why Victory Lap is one of those albums you can't stop playing.
Deny it,
You can't stop playing.
You can't deny it, man.
At the end of the day, proper dues and respect. It's the same way we respect Tupac and Biggie. Nip is gonna be right there.
Yeah, he got to be.
He got to be,
you know what I'm saying? I mean, project-wise, you know, he put out material. He left a legacy, you know. I mean, hell, Nip was in movies. You know what I'm saying? He was in the Bone movie, you know, back in 2007. He was in the movie with Ving Rhames, and I think, was it Benzino or something like that? You know, Nip was just on his way. You know, he did a lot, and he was going to do more. You know what I'm saying? Even from the aspect of when Crenshaw, you know, first dropped. And I never forget, man, because when Crenshaw first dropped, I was anticipating and waiting for it. You know, my wife at the time was pregnant with my daughter, and we was driving down to Miami. And that same day we were driving to Miami, I was going to a show, you know, and Crenshaw was dropping that night. I spent my $100. You know what I'm saying? So I can get my physical copy. You know, loyal to the soil. You know what I mean? And that was just a classic, man. That was another classic. Like Nip dropped classic mixtapes. I don't call them mixtapes though. I call them albums, because the one thing about Nip's mixtapes, they had original music on them. So to me, if you got original music,
even if he sampled, he still made it.
Yeah, he still made it his own.
Still made it his own, because every other song you could catch a beat or catch a tempo, like you might hear something, especially on the Crenshaw joint, but he still made it his own. Even when he did the I can't think of the song right now. The Beyonce little sample. Yes, it's on Crenshaw. I can't think of the song right now, but just the way he slowed that tempo down. Who else could have did something like that?
Yeah.
Even when Beyonce did her own song, it was like, okay, cool, this Beyonce singing, but the way Nip just let it linger out into the outro, man. Yeah,
I mean, man, Nip is special. You know, he came up in the same class. I mean, if you want to go back, you know, to the Double XL freshman cover, you know, it was him, Big Shan, your boy that just passed this year, Fred the Godson.
Rest in peace to him too.
I still got that cover. Rest in peace to Fred the Godson as well, man. But I followed this cat, man.
Then Wiz was on that cover too.
Yeah, Wiz was on the cover too. Yeah. You know, even with Wiz, I followed his come up.
I think OJ the Juice Man was on that cover too.
OJ was on it. But yo, man, all these cats, man, you see the progression in these folks, man, and you follow them. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, like I always told people, you know, when it comes to hip hop and the era of the new class of people was back then, because it's almost been a decade now. But to me, it was always Nip, Cole, Kendrick, Crit, and Drake. After that, I mean, it's a lot more. Big Sean definitely a spit on the mic. You can't deny that. You know what I'm saying? He got them joints for you or whatever. But just as far as the new cats, because even like with Titty Boy, I don't consider him a new cat. I'm talking about back then. I didn't.
No, back then, no.
I didn't consider him a new cat. Like I'm talking about when he turned into 2 Chainz, he was considered a new artist, but to me he wasn't, because I've been knowing
he was already out here.
Yeah, I've been knowing him since DTP days. So I didn't, you know what I'm saying? I didn't consider him as part of a new class. You know what I'm saying? But that's just me. You feel me? But like I said, Nip, Crit, Cole, Kendrick, Drake. You know what I mean? But the only thing different between all them other people was Nip didn't have that big machine behind him like the other folks did.
Yeah.
Even like with Crit had a big machine behind him. They just didn't know how to use them.
Right.
Def Jam fumbled the ball, especially when when LeBron and the Heat won the championship in Miami, and they was jamming Crit. And Def Jam just dropped the ball. Like, that was the perfect opportunity to push Crit.
Put him on that plateau.
But Crit and Nip, it basically have the long road traveled concept. You know what I'm saying? And Nip was a little bit more ahead of the game because he got out of his deal earlier than the other cats. Like, when Nip got out of his deal with Epic, that's when everybody else was signed. You see what I'm saying?
Got you.
So it was that transition. Because like I said, Nip was here before them. You know what I'm saying? He was
pretty much already established.
Yeah, he was established to a certain degree. They still couldn't find the right, They
didn't really know where to stick him, what category to pick him in.
Exactly.
Put him in.
And music changes and times change or whatever the case may be. They wasn't ready for it at that time.
Couldn't see the vision.
Yeah, they couldn't see the vision. But he believed in himself, pushed himself. It was a long road travel. Just like if you go back, I'll tell you a little bit of history. You go back to the Marathon album or mixtape or whatever you want to call it, and that one song where it's that Wiz and Currency beat where he freestyling over.
Okay.
So I'll give you some history just on that, right? So at that time frame, he left Epic, right? Twitter was the new thing, right? Every time Nip got like an extra 10,000 followers, he dropped a freestyle, right?
Okay.
So each freestyle, he's like, all right, when I reach X, Y, and Z followers, I'm gonna drop another freestyle. So that's how he gained his Twitter followers at that time frame, right? So if you go back and just listen to that freestyle, you'll hear, now I'm at my 57,000, followers or whatever. I'm gonna drop a leak. So it was a leak. It was every time I'm gonna do a leak when my followers go up. So that's how he actually got his followers up at the time frame. He got it to a certain point, then he dropped the Marathon.
Got you.
Because to me, that song, because I have the mixtape with all the leaks before that came out. It was just all freestyles on people's beats. That's how he, gained his followers from the big deal that he lost or he left from. Now he's independent, built that up, got another fan base, another loyal fan base, did the Marathon, boom. And just kept going from there, utilizing, you know what I'm saying? So, I know sometimes, you can listen to a song as jamming or whatever, but, you may not take 2 and 2 together if you don't really know, you know what I'm saying?
Everything has a history behind it. And, that's, me being late coming in as a fan, all of this is good information because now when I hear stuff, when I listen to, we don't have to call it an album. We have to call it an album. I don't want to call it a mixtape. It's an album.
Yeah. It's like,
so me being a newbie, it all made sense listening to the good history.
Yeah.
From, back when he was here on Earth and, the way he made the moves to make these classic tapes that he had left for us, basically. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's like I said, man, Volume 2, Volume 3. And then I'm talking about Bullets Ain't Got No Names. That's what I'm talking about when I say Volume 2, Volume 3 for the people that don't know. That Volume 3 was just out of there. It was out of there. He stamped his point. He stamped his spot at that time frame. If you guys just go back and listen to the beats at the time frame, it was like you knew like, yo, this cat, he gotta have some type of deal that we don't know nothing about. Because for you to get these type of beats and the selection of people, like Boosie was one of the first people to work with Nipsey. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Boosie was on Volume 2. You know what I mean?
Volume 2 went hard though too.
So it's like you got, solid cats that was working with this cat at the time frame, you know what I mean? Like, it's just crazy, man. But just to keep going with the chronological, outline of Nip, when he dropped, before Crenshaw, he had dropped TMC, The Marathon Continues, which was another solid project, just full of jewels. Nip always dropped jewels, on folks. Do your research, read these certain books, you know what I'm saying? Get your business up, get your money up. It was just a hustler's mentality. And it was just hustle from a different aspect, you know what I mean? He always, it's kind of like, like we just saw the verses the other day, right? With Chains and Ross. And Nip is a part of that same cloth.
Right.
Luxury rap. You know what I'm saying? Luxury rap, ownership, and
knowing your
big
worth.
Boy shit. Yeah, knowing your worth. Perfect. You know what I mean? Knowing your worth and just, locking down on that. You feel me? And from there, he had Crenshaw, and then he went on tour with the Crenshaw. That's when he first made his, because we here in Florida, and at the time frame, he had a show in Miami, Tampa, Orlando, and I think Jacksonville. So this was not his first time down
Had
here
I
per
known
se.
what I know now, I would have been at every
It's all good, man.
freaking show.
And see, that's the thing. Like, you can't, for me, I was like, growing up, I was one of them cats like, oh man, you ain't on this, you ain't on that, man. You're sleeping, blah blah blah. You know what I mean? I'm in my 30s now. If you catch it, you catch it. If you don't, then you know what I mean. Like, I'm not finna sit here and be like, oh, you late, whatever. Because it's some people can get information late and it may work for them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They wasn't on it at the time frame. They wasn't ready for it. I mean, yeah. At the same time, I don't like the fakes. People that claim, oh, I'm the biggest and the best and blah 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 after somebody done passed. But at the same token, if you hear a message that connects to you, then cool. You know what I mean? Like, I hate that it took somebody passing,
right,
for people to listen. But sometimes it's just how it is.
Takes that.
Sometimes that's how it is, man.
You
know what I'm saying? Just like the boy XXX Tentacion. When he died, he had a strong fan base of younger kids,
right, that
was really hard on him. You know what I'm saying? And but when he died, of course, some of the masses, people that didn't listen to him, listening, you hear the message, you see where he was going,
right.
Although
me personally, I never really got into him. I've heard a few tracks, and he's nice.
Yeah, he was nice.
He's
know what
nice.
I'm saying? He was nice.
But I wouldn't sit up here and say I got to listen to him.
Yeah.
Everybody has a different motivation in the music.
Exactly. It's some stuff just ain't for me. Some stuff is, or whatever.
And how I feel is music is life. You got to think about it. We grow up listening to music, childhood, teenage years, adulthood. Music takes us through these volumes of life, whether you know it or not.
Yeah.
So it gets to a point in the music where you just kind of like, all right, I'm done listening to that boop 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 boop, and you want something to stimulate your mind.
Yeah.
So I mean, I get it with that little XX fans and stuff. I ain't really with the raging and jumping in crowds. That's cute, but I want something to stimulate my mind. I mean, me coming up, I always been a Jay-Z fan because that's all I knew.
Yeah,
that's all I could understand.
Yeah,
and even still now, I still admire the man. But then we have where I got on the Nipsey train. You feel me? The guy's a mental genius.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody know what to do with him, so he had to do it for himself.
Yeah.
And stayed true to his character by putting his peers on that understood him. It was in that same soil with him.
Yeah.
He ain't go out here to the Beverly Hills and find these other cats that want to rap.
Yeah.
That wasn't gonna work. because they wouldn't understand what the marathon was about.
Yeah.
They wouldn't understand what That's Lost in Life was about.
Yeah.
So I mean, every day when you listen to a new song or think about a track or something, you got to think about where this man was mentally in his whole grind.
Yep. Yeah.
From beginning to end. And I'm still listening to songs like I ain't never like Apple throw something on me. I'll be like, what? This Nip.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at the phone. I'll be like, okay, let me start this song so I can make sure I hear it again or whatever. But
yeah,
my point being is, it's like that's all I can focus on is to stimulate my brain.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some of this music out here we got now is great. It's wonderful. Some of it's good. But I just feel like Nipsey's one of those rappers where, because he's of our age, of the same same upbringing, this guy knows, this guy understands, this guy's the truth. So there are particular lines where he says certain things, and I feel that. Special guest.
I'll edit that out.
Which was bringing me to my point. Yeah. when he has that line, was you born in the 80s? Did your mama smoke cocaine?
Oh, man.
Shit.
Hold up.
Post some Clico on that.
Oh, man.
What you know about a whole thing?
Double up.
Grew up on short change. Is he talking to me? Is he talking to me? I mean.
But, hey, that's the thing, man. When you have artists that you can feel. Again, feeling. Now I'm talking about not touching and feeling, you know what I mean? I'm talking about you feel them in your bones, in your soul, internally. Soul. You know what I mean? Those are always going to be special people. They may not be the big lyrical miracle, you know, metaphorical rapper that'll break you down bars and nah, because even like that gets old. You know what I mean? Like, you can bar me up for days, but okay,
if I see
you know what I'm saying,
if I feel you.
But if I feel you, like Pimp C, you gonna feel me.
Like, if we
you know what I'm talking about?
If we was to ever like see these rappers like Pimp C, Nipsey, they would be like our brother, our cousin, automatically.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
because they gave you that what's up, cuz, what's going on,
that
bro?
feeling, like just real. You know what I'm saying? That's why I say, man, look, you got Pimp C, you got Pac, you got Nipsey. It's a lot of other people out there, but I'm talking about those are the three. For me personally, you gonna feel them. I'm talking about they words is gonna burn in your soul, and it's gonna touch you. That is something that only a special few type people can do.
Also having a calming spirit too.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, when you have that ability to just, you know, get in somebody's soul like that, it's something special. Not everybody has that. Not everybody has that ability to do that. You know what I mean? And even you know, like your top MCs, you know, like the Jay-Z's, like the you know, the Nas's, you know, and all that. Yeah, they super dope rappers. They're the greatest at their craft and all that. But not every song I feel like that. You know what I mean? But when these cats like a Nip, a Pimp, or Pop, you know what I'm saying, when they was on it, you know, when they was, hey, they coming out with a new song, a new project, it's a different feeling. You know what I'm saying? So when you had that ability, man, it's just special. You know, and to go back to Crenshaw, like you brought up the point of Jay, right? So, you know, when Crenshaw dropped, you know, Nip had this idea, yo, I'm gonna charge $100 for my CD. Everybody's like, who is this dude? He's $100.
I remember reading about that. I remember reading about that.
Why he's so special? What make him think he's so special?
He was crazy.
Yeah, people thought he was crazy. They thought he was nuts. You know what I'm saying? But when you follow the evolution of this cat, all right, he gonna show y'all, and especially, you know, When he dropped it, who bought 100 copies?
Mr. Carter.
Spent the 10K.
Mr. Carter.
Then boys start looking like, oh, Jay-Z bought 100 copies on this dude's CD. Oh, let me go listen to this cat.
And that's just that hustler's
the hustler spirit.
Right. So he obviously he knew where Nip was coming from.
Yeah.
His intentions.
Yeah.
Let me support. Matter of fact, let me motivate.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? And from there, Crenshaw, is one of the, all his albums is good, but that was just one of the albums that elevated him, to another level. Then, he dropped Mailbox Money the next following year. Mailbox Money, he was selling that for $1,000, and he made $50,000 off of that in one day because people bought. He sold 50 copies in one day. All pocket monies. He ain't have to, spend it to anybody else. This was all his in-house money, ownership. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's crazy, man. Like, I was thinking, like, just on the way here, it's crazy how back in the day, right, we used to be like, oh, man, they sold platinum. They sold, 500,000 copies the first hour, right?
Yeah.
But then you laugh at boys that sell, 10,000 copies, right? But we don't know the logistics behind that.
Exactly.
So really,
especially
it's like
behind bit labels and stuff like that.
So it's like we sitting here praising cats for making the record company richer,
right?
Instead of the cats that's selling the 10,000, 15,000, 20,000, and they're independent and they're getting 100% on the dollar, or not. Let's say 80% or 60% on the dollar, versus the cat that's selling 500, selling 2 million copies, and they're getting 2 cents on a dollar.
On a dollar.
You feel me? So it's like now it's changed so much, and a lot of that mindset of people understanding the business aspect of things. Nip was a part of that.
Right. And the fact that he honors the people he looked up to. Right. Looked up the Master P. He looked up to the Rap-A-Lot people. I mean, he understand in order to grow his foundation, he had to pay homage
and study,
right, those who came before him.
Right. And that's the thing, man. It ain't always about the fame. Guys, you got to have your business in order. Get your paperwork right. Understand, the way things go, because it could have went the other way for Nipsey. You know what I'm saying? Because he was signed, originally, and they let him go with his masters because they didn't think he was going to be nothing. You dig? And he proved them wrong. You know what I'm saying? And from there, man, Mailbox Money.
What'd he say? Starving artists just be happy with your fame.
Right? But on the flip side of that, that's all we knew at the time frame. Right? But he just had a different aspect on things, man. And, that victory lap dropped. And
so let's go album for album, song for song.
Album for album?
What's your favorite? You being the Nipsey connoisseur that you are.
It's hard, man.
I know it's hard. Because you had to play 2 to 3 songs right now. What's your go-tos?
But see, I'm gonna go back to that.
You got to set your mood
because it's like you said, music reflects life, right? So it's different parts of my life where, Nip had different things going on, and different different albums, so they hit a different way. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, album for album, I have to, man, let me see. So we got Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3, then you got the Marathon, TMC, Crenshaw, Mailbox Money, Slauson Boy 2, No Pressure, Victory Lap, and then just a whole bunch of, in betweens, little leaks here and there. I mean, right now, what comes to, the easy thing that comes to my mind right now is always going to be Victory Lap. Right now. But that's today. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For me, is Victory Lap, but like the song that like, it's two songs specifically that I always have to hear, and that's from Mailbox Money. It's gonna be Status Symbol.
Okay, I fuck with that one right there.
Cause I want to get back rubs in my leather seats. You know what I mean? I want to negotiate equity.
Talk shit, a fucking freak.
You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. We're gonna see what we can do for you,
right? So it's that, and it's Overtime.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, Overtime just hits differently because, me, you, and Nip are the same age.
Definitely.
We're the exact same age, right? And when he say, I'm riding in that Chevy jamming Savage Life, everybody, come on, man. We listen to Webby.
Right.
Jamming Savage Life, which was a classic. We know about the Webby and Boosie.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's us. We from here.
Right.
We from the South. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that connection. We the same age. He West Coast, but you know what? Nip fuck with a lot of people that I fuck with.
Yeah. He was
Boosie.
He was all around though.
Boosie, Webby, Trey, Zero, Slim Thug. You know what I'm saying? Ross. T.I.
That's definitely.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, bruh, you a West Coast cat, but I know what you jamming because we jamming the same thing.
Right.
I fuck with you.
I love his songs with Ross because
magical.
I love his songs with Ross because you can just feel the energy.
Magical.
As if you was there with them while they recorded. Ross just
the hairs on your arm stick up. You know what I mean? The hairs.
Nipsey laid back, Ross laid back.
Right.
But it's the tone of their bars. Well, the tone of their voices just kind of like
the
give
beats
you chills.
Are huge.
Like every time I listen to The Weather, I just be like, oh my God.
Come on, man. Are you serious?
Every time I listen to The Weather, I just be like, that song, I feel like I should be in a Benz or something when I listen to
That's what I'm saying. It's like,
The Weather,
Man, that's why I say like, but I really, for me, I can't really rank Nipsey projects because for me, it's just like me ranking Outkast projects. It's impossible for me to do that. I can't do it. Because you're talking about my favorites.
Tap out.
Right? When it comes to me, I can't rank Outkast albums. I can't rank Bone albums because those are my favorites, period, in life. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like Pac is my favorite MC. I can rank his albums for me because I was a kid, things hit a little differently, you know what I'm saying? Like you seen the elevation, some albums, some songs you cater to more or whatever the case may be. It was different day and time, right? But when you coming up with a cat that's your same age, y'all going, not you don't have the same experiences, but you can relate, just like Cole, we're the same age as J. Cole.
Right.
We're J. Cole, you, me, Nipsey, we're the same age. 85 babies.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you relate a bit differently because like Cole hit you differently because, he makes songs like about shit you was thinking about when you was in high school. It's the same type of correlation. You know what I'm saying? But, even some Nip projects, like for instance, some stuff isn't on streaming again. That's just how it is in the world. A lot of songs not on streaming.
And I came to find that out the hard way. A lot of stuff is not on some of these streaming platforms just
Correct.
because when he made some of the stuff he made, that outlet wasn't available to us. So you got to go soul searching.
Yeah. Or you can hit me up. I have a hard drive with a lot of things on there. You know.
So yeah, you got to go down.
Yeah, down a rabbit hole.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But again, man, I can't really rate Nipsey projects because I have a special connection to each one of them because of different parts of my life that I was in at the time frame. Just like, you know, another one of my favorite MCs is Zero. I can't rank Zero albums.
Motherfucker go long.
Yes, you know what I'm saying? I can't rank Zero's albums because it's different parts of my life. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, like I said, it all depends on how I'm feeling, the mood that I'm in when it comes to songs. But like I said, I have to listen to Status Symbol. I have to listen to
I love
Overtime.
Status Symbols too, though.
Yeah, Status Symbol 2, that's the one that's on no. That's the one that's that's why I love Status Symbol. Cause Status Symbol 2 is on Slauson Boy too. Right? 1 and 2. 3 I'm not too keen on. I'm gonna be honest.
You're not feeling that?
I'm not too keen on it. I like it because it's on Victory Lap. But 1 and 2 just hit differently to me. You know what I'm saying? To me, they're more richer.
Let me tell you one of my favorite joints, because I got a couple of favorite. Sometimes I can't remember the words bar for bar, but I know the feeling it gives me when I'm listening to it.
Okay.
You ready? 4 in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah, 4 in the morning. Yeah, they hit hard. 4 in the morning is Crenshaw.
4 in the morning, like.
But see, okay, so let's just go album for album. Let's do that.
And I want to say this about he's not he ain't gonna give you a love song.
Yeah, when I'm
he ain't gonna give you nothing to go bounce that ass to or whatever. So he, even with 4 in the morning, it made you feel like she ain't your girl. She ain't gotta be your girl. But at this point in this time right now, I'm a hustler. You in a hustler's spirit right now.
Right.
We in this situation.
Right.
What we finna do?
Right. Get it in.
We finna get it in.
Get it in. You know what I'm saying?
We finna smoke this weed till they kick us out the hotel.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
We both come from broken families.
Right.
Let me be your daddy.
Right.
You like what?
But see, look though, right?
Like, who's really out here talking to females?
That's what I'm saying.
Like
but look, I give you one. So you on that one,
okay?
Right?
I feel like you about to hit me with.
I got another one of Nips like that, but this is from either volume 2 or volume 3, right? I'm gonna pull it up real quick, cause you just said who talking to females like that.
In another joint that snapped for me, I turn that thing up every time. The Mansion.
Yeah, the Mansion. That's a leak. The Mansion is a leak.
Yeah, you got an ass, but your soul is whack.
Right.
Oh, every time I see a girl, beautiful, body banging, your soul is whack. I can tell by that from the first time you open your mouth.
Right.
It just takes me to a place like we look at people, this image of people. Everybody want to have the best this, look the best that. Where your soul at?
Right. Exactly.
Call these people out, yo.
Exactly.
Call these people out.
All right, hold on. Let me see if I can find this thing. Was it Fast Lane Youngsters? Yeah, Fast Lane Youngsters, I think. I'm going to play it real quick.
We fly till we die, fresh to the death. They hate to see us shine, so we don't show them nothing less. Hate to see us fly, I'm finna go and buy a jet and put blue Gucci seats in the cockpit. Rolling on my wrist, and nah, I don't tick. UCL 6, nigga, that's a nice whip. I pull up on your bitch, and all I say is this: you can stay where you at, or you can take a trip. Let's go. We fly, we fly, we fly. Come on and just touch the sky with me.